Imagine that your goal is a wardrobe. And inside that wardrobe, you have shoe boxes. So if a goal appears or it seems really, really big, like for example, getting a new job, opening a new business, starting a family, learning something that is very complicated, if that seems like a very large goal to you, then this is a technique on how to break them down. Imagine your goal as a wardrobe, and if you don't mind, we're going to work on one of my goals, which is become a master investor. Right? I have like a tiny little budget that I want to invest, because you're never supposed to invest what you can lose, right? You're only supposed to invest what you can afford to lose. So a tiny little budget, couple £100, I want to learn how to invest it. That is my ongoing goal at the moment. I'm getting very good at it. I'm not a master yet, but on my goals list, it is very measurable, very specific, very time bound. So I am on my way there. Now, this is a wardrobe, right? And inside are shoe boxes. All those shoe boxes put together are going to make me a master investor. Now, when I started, I wanted to start with the things that I already know. So I know how to research. I know how to learn. So I started researching what are the elements that I need to know. That was my one shoe box. Inside the shoebox, imagine that there are your receipts. Yes, for your accounting or for anything else you would keep receipts for that are useful. And you're going one by one through these receipts. So for example, once a week, I have a time slot that is 1 hour. And within that time slot, I'm going to research a new thing, watch a new video, find some new information. Based on that 1 week, it's much easier for me to then the week after, and the week after that, and the week after that, because I already have some basic information. So I already know the difference between different platforms, different assets I can invest in, different returns, and then we move on to the next shoebox, which for me is who can I speak to? So who do I know that is a very good investor, someone that I know that is really good at what I want to learn, that I could actually speak to, ask for advice, explain my questions, explain my challenges, see if that's a person that I can speak to on a regular basis, and if can they support me in this? Basically, anyone that I know that would be good at what I want to learn, at what I want to do. That could be a mentor, an example, an advisor, anyone like that. My next shoebox would be to actually do it and get into practice and start learning on my mistakes. That is my process. I'm not saying do it this way. I'm giving it as an example of how to break down something that seems very, very big. So in the next step, I go out and I test different platforms and I see which one is best for me. And then I put my little couple £100 in there. And then I start doing small operations so that I can write down what worked well, what didn't work. And that is still within my 1 hour per week, because that's how much time I'm spending on it. Now, I set that realistically for me, it's 1 hour per week. So I set it over 6 months. I'm about month 4, at the end of month 4 now of my 6 months. So I'm doing the practice. Yes. My next shoebox, and within that shoebox, right, as with the practice, there were the single transactions were my receipts. So my practice was doing it one by one. With the next shoebox, my next step is going to be researching and getting some professional help. So for example, an advisor that shares their portfolio with me so that I can learn exactly what they're doing, but that is now something that is paid. So I wouldn't be able to get, because that was my role, that I'm not going to spend money on learning until I at least make a little bit of my own practice with my own skills. I'm not going to spend more until I make it. So on training, I am now researching what platform I can join, what person I can join, what course I can take, just like you took this course, what course I can do to learn more about it. My last box is going to be finding more ways, finding out more about larger investments, planning my future, planning pension funds, planning properties, planning things like this, a second property, a third property in my case, things that I'm going to have to grow and to become a master investor. In my mind, that is my last step. And I hope that this gives you an idea of what to do with goals that you find very large. What is the biggest challenge? Which one of your goals that you have written down seem the most difficult? And how can you break it down? How many wardrobes do you need for your goals? And inside which wardrobe, you first decide how many elements, how many shoe boxes. And you then start opening these shoe boxes one by one. Everything has an order. You can write this out. You can write it out somewhere and basically name all the elements and then put them in the right order. How do you need to do that? Who do you need to speak to? What kind of steps can you take on your own? What kind of lessons, research, stuff like that you can do on your own based on your own skills? When do you have to involve other people? When do you need to speak to someone? Do you speak to someone at the very beginning? That is all up to you. But it does take a little bit of time, yes, at least a couple of minutes, to sit down, have a look at your goal and decide what steps to take. Now, once it's broken down, it does really look like a much easier to accomplish goal, something that is not overwhelming. This whole exercise is to fight overwhelm. So whenever you feel like this is too much or this is too big, just focus on something really small. I'm sure you have done that in the past. I'm sure there were things that you achieved that were really big. Started with something very small. So this is it, small steps, small achievements, and you can even every time you complete a step, you can add that to your accomplishment list. It is your list to do with as you please. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video, hoping that this was helpful and that you will try it.